Oh, I don't know. Here. I'm sorry. Whatever you want to do with that.
So is this a mic or a recording mic?
They're recording.
Yeah.
For me?
live.
We're recording the class.
Cool.
Alright, so that.
How can I scroll?
Try and scroll it up, see what actually works.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. All right, so I found a paper that was going over 3D seismic for application in radioactive waste disposal. This location was in the Paris Basin, and specifically the eastern part of the Paris Basin. And what they were doing is they wanted to go down to a certain formation that they've been studying to further qualify it for injection of radioactive wastes. And they used 2D and 3D seismic to help find the parameters and the properties of the rock unit to make sure it's valid as a candidate. And so I went through the paper, and I just wanted to show you some of the stuff they did and how they used the 2D and 3D model and how they decided that the unit they're targeting was a good unit, a good candidate. And so the unit, is it not working now?
You grab over there.
Oh, yeah.
Slide that on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow, this is fancy. What's it doing? So, the geologic setting, all that was the intro, what they're trying to do. And the main part is the geologic setting that they're looking at. They're looking for the Calavo-Oxfordian argillaceous rock, and that's the target unit. And they've done 50 or so wells, and this was in 2013. 2014 is when it was published. They've done 50 or so wells in the region to find the different units that they're targeting, and the main one that they've ended up targeting is this Calavo-Oxfordian argillaceous rock, and the target is at about 130 meters deep, and the geologic setting is it's bound by two limestones, the Bajocian limestone and then like the Bashocian. It's almost the same, there's one letter off, and above the limestones vertically are just milestones and other rocks that they think make good seals. And the target rock, this argillaceous rock, is a clay-rich, shaly rock, and they think that it's good for the radioactive waste disposal because, like a clay liner defends against radioactive decay, so this would be a good thick unit. But they want to make sure that it's homogeneous, that it is in fact all a clay layer, and that it's not compromised somehow. The area has had little seismic activity for approximately 160 million years, as far as they can tell. It's had small seismic activity, but most of that's been regional, not localized in their area. And so they decided that they're going to move forward and produce a 3D seismic model among a 2D seismic model and various seismic interpretation sets for time to depth and the physical properties like shear modulus, spoke modulus. And to do that, what I found was they have multiple, let me find the figure. Oh, before that, real quick, this is the strat column that they're using, that they came up with, using the wells that they have. And this is for the whole region. The specific one they're looking for is 3 is the top of the horizon and 5 is the bottom. You can see all of that is like a clay stone. And so that's their target, and 160 meters or so thick. And bound by limestones, got marls and other things there as well. But that's the target. And they are going to use, throughout the paper, their seismic data to show that that's really a clay stone, as well as their confirmation through their wells. But to start with the seismic data, this is the region in the basin that they're looking at. The purple lines are 2D seismic lines, and they ran normal stack sections that they migrated to get a two-dimensional look at the unit. And they had them transverse. They cross here at this point on purpose, and then there might have been a third one up there. There's one for sure here. And they crossed them on purpose so then they could use part of that 2D, the 2D migrated sections to create 3D block models. They did that as well as using the 3D, the seismic area that they're working with in 3 dimensions is the green outline. And so they used the model-based elastic inversion model from these 3 two-dimensional lines applied to an angle migrated stacks, which provided their 3D impedance blocks. So they used, as far as I understand what that meant.
An angle migrated stack.
So I know the migrated stack is two-dimensional seismic line that you run and then you migrate it across the line. And so angle, I would imagine, is my initial assumption is the angle off from the transversing lines, where the lines cross. So it counted for the angle with the cross. But I also thought maybe it had to do with dip or of the beds beneath it, but I wasn't sure. Do you know?
I know, I'm just trying to find the reference to what you're talking about. Because you have azimuthal migration. You reorient the gathering in the azimuthal direction. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to figure out.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
There
you go.
So they used which I thought was interesting, they used two-dimensional lines crossing and that information with the migrated stacks to create three-dimensional blocks that they then can have as the 3D impedance model. And the other main step that they used was to convert these seismic properties through the 2D lines into workable depth models from time to depth. And they talk about the different ways to do that. The main way that most people use is the Kriging model. And this is an example of one of the seismic sections, or both in time. They talk about, see if I can scroll properly. This again is in time. I'm going to get to the part where here. So they talk normally they could use a Kriging method to convert time to depth. And they felt in this situation it would be best to use a Bayesian Kriging method. I looked it up and it's just another variant for interpolation for time to depth. And they talk about how they account for all the assumptions that time to depth conversions require, like assumption of lithology, assumption of modulus, assumption of the travel time, you know. And so they believe that the Bayesian Kriging method would account for this the best. And so they use that, and they've produced a bunch of graphs or graphics using the Kriging method that they used. And let's see. So here's an example of the conversion from time to depth using the Kriging, and it's off slightly, but supposedly is a more accurate way to do it than just Kriging. And the rest, there's just a bunch of these models showing the time to depth conversions using Kriging and the 2D seismic lines. And this is a topographic view for elevation. The next one is for thickness, I believe. Thickness map. And so on. So these are your models in depth now, having done the Kriging, Bayesian Kriging conversion. and these are for the 2 lines. And so they put them together in the end, and you get 3D data, as far as I understand. And so I thought that was interesting. And some of these are the borehole properties that they acquired from the 50 wells they drilled. But anyway, in conclusion, we had that the target unit they're looking for, the properties that it showed through the borehole and through seismic, indicate that it is a homogeneous clay-stone layer, and that's what they want. That's what they're looking for. But their overall plan now that they've more or less confirmed that's enough. Anyway, now that we've more or less confirmed that the rock is what they want and it's homogeneous, they want to seal the deal, I guess you could say, with a final borehole that runs through the bulk of the formation that they're looking at. And the boreholes all around it are all around it, but they want one right through the spot they're looking at so they can be absolutely sure that it's the homogeneous clay. And after drilling 50, one more, I guess, isn't that a big deal. But yeah, so that's what I found. Any questions?
How deep did you say the target formation was?
They say 160 meters, and with about 400 to 600 meters above it of limestone and marlstone mostly. Jurassic
So
in
the
age.
depth of the target is not 160 meters.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. The target, yeah, it's 160 meters thick. It's down 400 to 600 meters depending on the area of the basin. Thank you.
Is that deep enough?
For radioactive decay?
Yeah.
I think so, in the clay layer. But I'm never moving to France, so.
Is it onshore or offshore?
I think it's onshore.
Is it onshore? So they want to put the.
I have the.
France, but the majority of the power comes from radioactive, right?
Yeah, they're nuclear.
How do they liquefy the spent rods somehow?
No, I don't know what they do in this case, but it's in like
Absolutely, just put them in the well. No. Oh, how would they get them down the borehole?
I wondered that too.
That I don't know. Like, do they not?
They slush it and then.
Permeate into the formation.
It's clay, yeah.
Yeah, how do you get it? How do you get in there? I mean, how do you squeeze in the force plate?
Yeah.
Again, this is basically a storage rooms, it's like these little capsules.
That's what Yucca Mountain is going to do down in Nevada. When they abandoned the project eventually. Well, they spent $1 billion on it. Yeah, I knew they not.
They have a place like that in Idaho, don't they?
Huh?
They have a place like that in Idaho, too, right?
They have one in Washington.
INL's got.
Right now.
It's stored like on the surface.
So there are places, that are volunteering. The guys whose name used to be on Vivek's smartphone review, Energy Solutions, and they were proposing a truck or a train to bring in low-level radioactive waste. Utah, to the desert out there. Yeah.
Super low level, as I was told.
And it never happened.
Oh.
Interesting. In the U.S., there's a group here in Utah. The Department of Energy is funding a project to evaluate the potential viability of storing radioactive waste down boreholes. I think it's down to 4 groups who are in the final funding race to drill a hole. With a group in Utah called GOSEC. It's a deep drilling project. So they've got a proposed site in New Mexico. The research group is based here in Utah. In fact, the guy that we're going to be speaking on the Uinta Basin, Mark Eccles, on the 23rd. You've seen that in your calendar, right? Okay. You're checking the schedule, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
There we go. He's working on that project now. He might have been, I don't know. He was, I don't think he's involved in this one. This one's still trying to get off the ground. But there'll be a kind of environmental use of it as well. And the DOE says we have no intention in these particular holes of injecting lakes. We want to just check potential viability. If they want to go in the basement rock there, I understand.
So Ben, on that last well that you were talking about that they're gonna, I guess they proposed to drill, is that the one so the one that they wanna actually check the site? So you said they have the wells all around it, and then there's one they're gonna put in right at the location. Will that be their injection well as well, eventually? If it works out?
I don't know. Is here? I don't know if it's going to be their main injection well. That would make a lot of sense, though. They just said they wanted to do one more through the sequence that they studied to confirm. But,
So,
yeah, and I don't know how they inject it. It's a really good point.
so why does their map look like that?
No, these are the boreholes, and then this looks like it's the seismic outline. So
One of those little tentacles sticking out.
these are their seismic lines, the 2D lines going in. Are they not?
They put the 3D server in the middle and they shot individual lines. Anyone's seen that Taranaki data set? Someone asked me about the server in New Zealand. Where there's these little arms of seismic sticking out. They're just to tie it into the wells. So this is the proposed site, but they happen to have wells in the area. So they shoot a couple seismic lines. They may not have a permit to go all the way over the whole thing, but they'll shoot just a couple little lines so they can tie in the data.
So it connects with the stock, the sonic wells.
Yeah, you should tie it directly, more or less, to the 3D survey. Even though 3D survey doesn't sit right on top of the well site.
Do you know how they get uranium out of the ground? Because in West Texas, I've seen companies that drill for uranium, but uranium is a solid. It's not.
Uranium cakes?
It comes in different forms. They can put it to solution.
Yeah, those things down there.
That's one way.
Cakes is right.
I'm not a mining guy, but you can also, during the uranium rush in Utah, they basically went and found these petrified wood logs that had uranium in them. Those they mine, and others they mine as an ore, and they have to grind it up. Others they can, depending what it's growing in, they can put the rock in the solution. There's a lot of different forms. So, okay, well, thank you, Ben. So, who did last week? Hanif, you did. Did I miss an outstanding presentation?
I did record it.
I'm sure it was outstanding. It was right here. I just didn't want them laying out. It was just in the baggie with those cords.
So it might not be.
So there's no audio. Or did you use the other microphone? Did you use the other microphone?
No, I didn't.
There's another one right here. This one here too.
No.
We have the technology. Yes. That does not look like a microphone?
Very much like a
Okay. Yes, that's what it is. Okay. So, so what do we need to go over? You need some help to look at surfaces. We can probably do that. Everyone else able to get through that? Okay, so no one else had a problem? 3.2, you're just trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got stuck, so I didn't have to wait.
Okay. So we'll just to kind of come back to big picture. I was trying to bring in 2 speakers to talk about each of your individual projects, to at least give you contact with people that know. So on the 23rd, he'd hoped to be here Thursday, but he couldn't. He scheduled it, and then he sent me an email about 20 minutes later. Oops. So he'll be here on the 26th. So we'll have him talk. And he helped develop that. He shot the first 3D in Utah, which was over this little field. So he knows all the ins and outs. So he'll be a good guy to give a presentation and ask questions of. Okay? So Mark's a fun guy. He's a good character. So our goal then, the other thing was to get you through how do I map the container? What are the bounding edges? You know, and then to try and understand. The next thing is trying to figure out how rock property is distributed. And I brought a core sample. Who's seen core? Concrete cores. Who's not seen core then? Have you not seen core? Have you seen core, honey? I didn't see your hand go up either way. But you've seen core. So there's a core.
Oh, that's you good enough. That must have cost a fortune to get out of the ground.
I'll bet it did. Okay? Well, I'll show you the core. So there's the core. That's for me. Okay. So when I to show this to people, this is a core out of an oil burn zone. For the longest time, it just smelled like oil. And this is what you pump oil out of. So just look at it and pass it around. You can probably still smell a little bit of this. I came out of the Arcoma Basin in Oklahoma. You can still see the oil stain in it. Normally that'd be white. It's a sandstone. And so oil comes out of that. But when you look at that rock, does it look exactly the same at an inch scale? Huh?
Is it homogeneous?
Well, as I said, look at it. Does it look exactly the same everywhere?
It looks like it's stratified a little bit. Has some chunks, stuff.
Yeah.
A worm went through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 million years ago.
Is that a cross core?
Uh-huh. So they'll cross a core out of that and then take it and run tests on that hole there. And that's been slabbed a little bit.
When they core these, do they maintain in situ fluid when they pull it up out of the ground?
They try to. Where they can. Depends how it's done. There are different ways to try and achieve that. They also try and maintain its orientation. In other words, which way is north, south, east, west on the core. And so they'll scribe the outside edge with a line that they know is in a certain orientation. So they can maintain that as it comes out. So, anyway, so I put that out because that's not, I mean, we can call that homogeneous, and if I'm a reservoir engineer and I'm doing a reservoir simulation and I've got 100 feet by 100 feet by 100 feet, that's going to be a homogeneous, right? At a field section scale, it's anything but, or even at a handheld scale. And so there are going to be compromises in how we estimate what the rock properties are and how they change laterally. And so bearing that in mind, I want you to understand that we're going to do a lot of stuff here in the next couple of weeks that there may be some approximations. And that's okay. Sometimes it depends on the scale that we need to understand. You know, there's an old adage in the carpenter world that measure with a micrometer, mark with a crayon, and cut with an axe. And sometimes we can get caught up in trying to get something really precise when it may not be relevant in our whole discussion. So I'm not pointing anything in particular. I just want you to keep that in mind, that it's as if anything in the world that we do and in life, try and figure out what the priorities are. We've ran, in terms of, what sort I want to use, economics. There's economic software out there. The company I work for sells something called Aries, which is still used by a lot of people. A lot of people take all the economics of an oil field, the development, and they plug in all the variables. I mean, what is the variation in porosity? What's the variation in permeability? What's the variation in fluid type? But also, what is the variation in the cost of pipe and the cost to develop it? So there's a full range of items in an oil field, and each individual item has its own unique variability.
If you can take all of those variations and put them together in something called a Monte Carlo simulation. So anybody done a Monte Carlo or heard of it? You've read about them. Basically, you take all the range of parameters. Say you got 10 parameters, and you've got 5 variations on every parameter. I don't know what the math is there, but there's probably a million different perturbations of how those different variations combine. So Monte Carlo simulation says, let's run a simulation on the field for every one of those variations. And then we will see what is the most likely occurrence. You're hoping it's kind of a bell shape or a Gaussian distribution. And then we can make our plans for the development and production of that field based on that Gaussian distribution. And most of the time it works. But what's interesting is occasionally you'll find that permeability may be the single most important factor in determining what is the economic viability of this. And if that's the case, where do you want to spend most of your time? Understanding permeability, right? What are the variations? Is there anything I can do to better define that? On the other hand, they find in some fields, the biggest variability is the cost of pipe. And so all the variations that we do on the science side, which we might think are important, pale in comparison to the development cost, for steel in particular for the pipe. And so in that case, you're going to want to lock down a price long term for that piece of pipe, or to acquire it so you can manage that. And so those sorts of things that we're going to, as we think about and go through geostatistics, I want you to think about the things that you can manage and the ones you can't, ones you want to worry about, ones that you might not need to worry about. So I'm just kind of setting a big picture. Does that make sense? Is that not clear to anybody? Something I can do to make that, can I say clearer, more clear? Clearer? I want when we're working with geostatistics, I want you to have that scenario that we can't control everything and we don't know everything, and we're going to have some variations. Okay? So, turn it on, and I showed these before. There are two things that are on your desktop. There's also a folder in your user directory on here. So if I log in as GAP7, who's 7? Anybody 7? You're 7, Ben. If you just open up the folder that says GAP7 which is up on your desktop, you'll see a directory called Yaris exercises. These folders are there, these documents are there also. There's also a couple of data files there that they're going to use in some exercises. So we'll get started and try and walk through the first one today to get us started. It's called loading 2D points. Okay? There's several exercises loaded. There's one for 3D. So you were asking about being gone to the Guadalupes. This is why I'm pointing you. Okay? That you can go and do these exercises at whatever pace you want to. Okay? So these ones here, this is the one, is this the one I told you to do? Probably shouldn't have, but I did. Which was a review of how to use decision space. And there are a whole series of these. You could have gone through all of them. And it's basically just how to get your decision space fired up, use your login, see whatever. And we used our own data set for this rather than theirs. Okay. So, that being said, now I got to reopen that document. It doesn't take me all the way back. So, we're going to redo this. Okay, there we go. So, once we get to here, and these activities through here, this one here is on loading some 2D data points. And we'll do this one in class today. I'll just get you started there. It says Jeffrey, but his son Jordan is the one who narrates this. So load 2D data points, okay? And hit the play.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to load a point set to our project.
So I'm going to stop it here for a minute.
A
But you have this data on your computer, is what point I want to make.
Point set.
So we're going to stop there for a minute. From there, he takes you to an exercise. Let's do a little data analytics. Some real preliminary, find out any outliers. So when you look at this diagram here, if they're colored by value, and this happens to be permeability values, plotted at different well locations, can you see the outlier just by the color? Yeah, the red one's an outlier. You may not want to include that in your data, so he's going to walk you through an exercise to clean your data up and get rid of some values that may not mean anything. And so I mentioned earlier that there can be reasons why data doesn't get, why not the data values the same in all the wells? Or close. Well, how can one be way off from all the others? Anybody remember? We talked about this a little bit. If I run a curve, why doesn't the curve look the same from all the wells?
So your question is, how can there be an outlier?
Yeah, how can I get an outlier in my data?
Well, I mean, like an anomaly, if you're looking at permeability and maybe there was just one strange piece of rock close to that borehole that doesn't represent.
Okay, so you're going to blame it on the rock. Right? Well, that's one possibility.
Or the equipment you're using to.
Okay, so that's the second one. So there could be the rock where some anomalous rock. Could be equipment problem. You said human error. Or they're not calibrated. They have a different set of parameters when they calibrated. So there's different things that can go into impact it. And he'll won't talk a lot about why, but you've got to figure out, I got to get rid of the outliers. Because they're not really, if I've got 100 data points and one is just way different than all the others, I can try and go back and figure out why. Or get rid of it, right? Okay? And as long as you're not convinced that there's, if I've got all this and it's just not one, this is probably just a problem with the data. Could have been simply someone mistyping it as well, human error. Could be a lot of reasons. So there'll be an exercise that walks you through that. Then we're going to get into diagrams. And there's a whole other set of lectures by Jeffrey that talks about doing this as well that I'm going to have you go through. But these are step-by-step instructions on how to use them. Okay? So I found a better use of my time, and your time probably, just to have you watch these videos, go through them, you'll have the exercises right here. If you need to bring your laptop in and set it up next to you or something so you can listen, or if you want to play them on the back, we can figure out a way. Okay? Because I don't think I have any speakers on the Linux side. So you need to find a way to listen while you're doing the exercises. Okay, so these are the 3D diagrams that we're going to watch, and there's several videos in there and a couple of these exercises. Some more diagrams and assignments. At the end of each one of these assignments, I'm going to tell you, don't log in, don't type your name in, because it sends it off to some location where Jeffrey's managing his class. And you're just going to confuse Jeffrey if you do that. Okay? So all I'm saying, just do the exercises. It's Jeffrey Carl. Oh well. This phone number here is one number off from the BYU ticket office. No, from the BYU summer camp office. That's what it is. All the extracurricular activities that youth do that come into BYU, this phone number is one number off. My office number is one number off from the BYU ticket office. So I get people calling me all the time.
Except payment.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your credit card number?
Come on. There we go. You can just take it off. See if it starts ringing again. Anyway, so at the end of each exercise, he'll say, take a picture and email it or attach it to this. Don't attach it, just drop it into your folder. Okay? And Jeff will peek in on you and see that you're doing it. Okay? So I'll let you start going through those, and you can go through those as fast as you want if you're going to be out of town. Okay? So there's a whole series of these. We'll get to, after doing a 3D exercise, there is I think it's not here, this next one, yeah. Oh. There's one that has a 3D data set. Okay. Okay, that one's done. Go back. When we get down to, I'm going to try to grab this bar. I think, is it this one? One of these, when you start to get into, there's a 3D data set that they have you load up as well. So we're going to be doing this over the next couple of weeks. Okay? So we'll talk about this. I'll start going through some of Jeffrey's lecture. I'll have you do that first one about loading the data points today. Make sure you guys get them all in. It's a pretty simple exercise. Okay? So these are George's lectures that are basically step-by-step how to go do this. With their two different data sets, a 2D version and a 3D. The 2D is just a spatial one. There's no depth component to it. On the 3D, there's a depth component to the data set. How the things vary vertically as well as laterally. So that first series of exercises is just going to be, let's look at things laterally. That'll be the simple version. Okay? So that's the one document. Okay. That's this one called UH-Links PDF. Okay? We won't be doing this last one on the Ford plan. Don't need to worry about that. We're not going to go that far. The other one here is a series of lectures. We haven't worked for a class remotely before. We just haven't been able to set up this year. He's got a pre- and post-class lecture. They're actually exactly the same. But you can go back, basically he said, so go back and rewatch the lecture if you want to afterwards. And then at the end of the video, so I'm just jumping into this one here for a minute.
This week's lecture is on exploratory data analytics.
So he's going to dive into more detail.
Project design.
Okay, well then the overview, which we'll have a lecture with another.
Compared to plants to understand the questions.
And so those are the slides. Put on this one. And at the end of it, he says, hey, send me an email with any questions you might have. So I'm going to just ask you guys to do the same thing. Send me an email on any questions you might have. Not with this, just in a separate email. Okay? These only last about 7 to 10 minutes. I've listened to all of them for around 20 minutes. They're not that long. They're designed to be fairly short.
For example, our well logs with the resolution of the grid that we're going to actually be.
Okay. This one is an introduction. I've got an expanded version of this. I'm going to have you go ahead and watch this one as well. But I've got an expanded version that we've had him do for us. Anyway. So, he's also Harvard fellow for. So if you're on with Jeffrey, you may not, but. So. So that should get you started. If you're going to be out of here, if you happen to miss a class, I will post on here kind of the sequence. We're going to do them in order, but these things are designed to kind of more or less parallel each other. So Jeffrey spends a lot of time talking about the why, and the other one is the how. Okay? So if you want to why, there are two different things here. He got his son to show you how, and Jeff talks to you about why. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing for the next little while. Okay? That's our goal in the next couple weeks, is to get through all of this. And then be ready to go to turn you loose on your data set. We will go build your framework, do the interpretation, and then do the modeling of the reservoir intervals that you're interested in. But here we're going to teach you how to do it, and then we're going to turn you loose.
You didn't want me to check, so then y'all, when I get a check, see it's in your folder.
Yeah, let me think about that. I'm going to put it in the online schedule. I'll fill that out before Thursday on how far I want them to get going and where I want them done by. But if I were to tell you to do something today, I would say listen to Jeffrey's first 2 lectures by Thursday. And I would get through here, certainly the first, not this one, but starting with lab activity 1, do those first 2 activities. Okay? By Thursday. So listen to Jeff's 2 lectures and and do these first 2 activities.
As always, feel free to text me. I'm usually here. If you get stuck anywhere, just send me a text and I'll see if I can help.
Yeah. Okay? Okay, so why don't we get some of this one now? The first one? Start Jeff on that. I'm feeling battery on blank. If you can just turn that back off.
This is the how.
This is the how.
I don't have the folder in my.
Just follow on. We'll find it. We'll find it. I checked. I know the folder's there.
Yours?
Go to Geol Home, and you'll. It's there. Okay. I double checked today. I went through them all.
It has to be Geol our number at the beginning.
It's in all of them, but I'm asking you to use yours. It just allows you to keep track of your stuff. Are you not logged in as you?
Oh, yeah, I'm logged in.
It's fine. Okay, that's why it says log in.
It's all the same password I stopped looking at.
We have the same password, but it's just that you each have your own home directory under yours. That way, if you do something, I can at least find it.
Yeah.
If you're not switch, that's fine.
In this video, I'm going to show you
And you listen, we'll start before you get to the relevant point. Alex.
We'll start with a text file.
You don't need to go with that yet.
To the point set.
We're just showing, don't worry
I
about it.
have this available to you.
You will. I'll tell you too when we're at the right point.
Take a look and show you what it looks like inside. We have several columns, all of
If you're into this, is everybody found their wireless folder?
Not yet. Oh, yeah, you're all set.
Okay, if you open it, you'll see 2 files in there. One that has the word, is it say DSG or something, 2D? Yeah, just double click on that 2D folder, that file. Will it open up? It should look like this. This is probably what it looks like. We don't have to do anything with this at this point. We're going to load it, and it'll take care of itself. Okay. So if you just want to back to what? Where is that? Well, 501. So if you look at it as a different well, each one has a different number or name. He's got a location for it. He's got an X and a Y location. He's got things like faces, which describes kind of a rock unit. For I don't know how the numbers are parsed out. We can sort that out later, but you could assign, I've got shoals, I've got limestone, I've got nearshore sands. There's different types of things, and you can assign them a number. Okay? So we're not worried about through the depth component. We're just saying for some rock interval. Okay. What is the what are those values in this case? We're going to use one line for the previous space if you haven't yet.
And we'll start a new section, so click on the new section tab. And you can select all of the modules except for GIS, which you don't have installed, and simulation. You certainly won't be using any of the microseismic data.
Okay. Okay, just want to make sure everybody not with me.
You said select all but 2 of them?
Yeah, you don't need those. Yeah. We probably won't even use well planning. But we're going to do the whole module for sure. Okay? New session? Bill, you want to speak up if you're not here? I say if you're not here. Let me know. Okay? Now he's going to jump in the ground forward.
So next, make sure that you have the district and project correct. Your district should be different.
We're going to let the district let us set itself.
DB. Mine is different. Project should be WT.
Okay. Everybody with me? Anybody not there?
So it's okay, our district is just
You guys are all the same. Okay, OWK, FIK, ADM. Yeah, you'll all be the same. No problem. Okay. I want to make sure you have the project WT. We're going to make sure it says all data. Now, what's interesting is he doesn't change this from SPE preferred metric here, but the data set is all in feet. In the later in the exercise, it tells you to set everything to feet. So if I were me at this point, I would actually change that from preferred metric to, say, feet, or US feet, or whatever it is. Yeah, go ahead and do it. US oil field, that'll be, yeah.
West Texas. We're going to use all data. We're going to use the measurement system SP preferred metric.
They change everything to feet later.
And make sure that you have your interpreter selected. If you have not created an interpreter ID, please go back to the interpreter ID manager. We have the previous.
I'm just going to use LGC.
we have it.
Oh, you have your own? Okay, then use your own. Thank you. Good. Okay, if you got your own, that's fine. Perfect. Okay. Anybody not with me? Okay, we're moving on.
Video showing you how to create an interpreter ID. Have no data selected for the last 5 options in the list, and click OK.
God, it's fun having Jeff there in the back. He just follows along with me.
So your session should open up.
Okay. I'm just waiting to make sure. Anybody not here? Still happening. We're all hitting at the same time. Okay, I'll just wait. When Jeff's is black, you can make it round. That's just a parameters or preferences setting. Okay, you're there. Anybody not? You're all there. Good. Okay.
And it should look more or less like this, empty with nothing in your inventory. There are 2 ways to load points.
Where the first one?
Project. One is to go to File,
Just watch.
select the Import Export option, and then use the Data Import Wizard to as a guide to load your data. That's actually a little bit more complicated than what we're going to do. We're going to just use the Earth Modeling tool.
So click on that tab over here.
Earth Modeling tab and highlight it so that it's active. You'll notice.
Okay. So we go to Focus the stuff is about to display in here. So you just grab that what we call flash bar and just slid it over. And you clicked on that Earth Modeling tab. So earlier when we clicked, when we were coming in, it shows what apps we wanted. Earth Modeling was one of them. That's why it shows up here. Okay, if we hadn't clicked that, it wouldn't have been on this menu. Okay, you good? All right.
The first option in the list is Import Points. If you don't see that, make sure you have the Data Operations icon selected. Click on the Import Points option, and there you'll be able to browse your computer directory for the 2D point set. So click the Browse button.
Okay. Want to make sure you can all see this.
We should be watching Jeff's, right? It shows where the browser.
Yep. Well, it should be right now. There we go. I'm just making sure that everybody's good. Okay, we good? All right.
I can't find it.
Where's the, this again.
Well, cancel this from it. So you just clicked on browse. Okay. So double click on landmark and, oh. Oh.
Landmark home, or
Click on GOP 8. Yeah. There's Yaris exercises. Double click on that. There you go. Okay? You're good. All right. So we're gonna
and you'll be able to see a similar view like we're looking at in our spreadsheet. The headers are listed at the top and the values below. We want to match the headers with the drop downs in this panel. So the system wants to know what is X. X is X complete.
So it changes the feed here.
Z, well, it's a 2D point set, so we don't actually have a depth or a Z value. Well ID is going to be well. Faces will be faces. And the horizontal units will be feet. As we can see the...
Okay. Just making sure you're here. Okay.
feet designation on the horizontal units. Rename the point set to include your initials.
So, I don't know what the character number is, but I've exceeded it before. It'll turn red. If it turns red, it's because you got too many characters. Just make the file name shorter. This is that same old Alice. Let's name it with the initials or whatever your moniker is. Big dog.
If you're working with a partner, you can put their initials in there as well. And click Create Point Set.
Now, when you do that, that's all right, that's fine. It's a disaster. This is not a disaster. We're a big disaster. This is not running. Okay, so Now, if I got it in my cube view, how do I get it into my map view? I can make this active, click on the map view, and then just come over here and turn it on.
Message telling that the imported. Say again how you do that.
Come over here, you just got over active, and then just got one button, make it green, and the data will come on. Okay? Do I make it through the disaster? Disaster resolved. Okay, good.
If the data is complete, click OK to dismiss that window. And you'll notice that my points are now displayed in my map view. They came into my map view because that's the view that I had active when I clicked the create point set button. However, if I want to display them in my cube view, I can do that very easily.
I just think you got a really well
Activate the cube view by clicking on it. And then you'll notice in the inventory, the visibility toggle has been toggled off. Go ahead and click that, and you can now see the points in your cube view.
Okay, how many views came out with this, or did this view turn out just like that one? Same, yeah. He's not explaining right here.
Notice that the points in the cube view are red. That's just one of the properties. The header has several properties. So if they're all red, it's probably one that's looking at some other property that is not. Access the display properties for the points. Nothing about right clicking on the points or right clicking on the display properties option. And in the symbols and annotation dropdown, you'll find a primary field. And that's why they're red. There's no primary field selected.
And here's an example.
I'm going to go ahead and select permeability. And I can see the colors change to.
Okay. But you notice they don't match, right? So it's got different properties in the two. He'll explain that.
Permeability values. And if I want to reflect the values that I'm seeing in the map, those might be the porosity values. So I'll go ahead and select the porosity values. And sure enough, they match. So I'll click OK to dismiss.
Oh, I'm going to go back just a little bit if I can. Oh, I don't know if I can.
Make sure you have.
Okay, this isn't looking for it. Okay.
Click on the import points.
Okay. Can you drive that over to me? Yeah. You can choose the color values. There's all kinds of parameters you can affect.
Last but not least, I'm not going to use my section view, so I may as well close it. I can always reopen one later. And as a deliverable for this section of the lab, just go ahead and take a screenshot. Make sure you include your point set name so we can see that it's yours, as well as the cube and the map view with the porosity displayed. Windows has a snip tool.
So we're almost done with this one.
And use the snip tool to make that screenshot.
We're not using Windows, we're not.
In case we need to see it later.
So that looks if you rotate the cube around, you can actually see some topography a little, well, maybe not, a little bit, yeah. You see a little bit of variation to it. Okay. So that's that side. If you want to do this, I will go to next. And he'll go through a little bit of data analysis. Okay? So your assignment is to do that next one. And if you want to work ahead, I don't care, but certainly by Thursday to have that next one done.
Is there any U of H links?
Uh-huh. Right here. U of H links. These are lab activities.
So it's lab 1 activity?
Yep. Activity 1 and activity 1. So tell you what. Let's see. Now I don't want you to read those. Let me see which one this one is. Just remember which one. This is the bowl one as well. No, we're not going to do that one. Nope. I'm not ready for that one yet. I don't think it's that. Let's do activity 1. All 12 of them. We just did number 1. There's 11 more. But they're not all that long. Just go through that one. Okay? So just do activity 1. That's when you need to finish. Okay? And read, the other thing I want to these are only 7 to 10 minutes long, then, or maybe 11 minutes. And you can watch through it probably anywhere. If you want to take those links with you. It's just a PDF file.
The Yaris link ones on my computer need updates in order to run the video.
Yeah, because I said you're going to have to go on a laptop or something to watch that. Because I don't have any speakers on these. I don't think there are. So there's no speakers hooked up to that Linux site. So go along and watch and listen to them. Or if you need to, you can log into the one in the back. Okay. And then you put them on the speakers if you want. You can also change the speakers from those in the back to the ones on the screen. That's not that hard to do either. Okay? So watch those two and do all of activity 1. Okay? And I got 1 minute left. We're on time. Okay, so we're shifting gears. We're going to start learning about stats and geostats. So you listen to Jeff for the whys, and you're going to listen to Jordan on the how.